Hello, and welcome to Rosa Laura. If this is your first time joining us, then it's so wonderful to meet you. And if you're returning, it's so lovely to have you back. My name is Rosa, I'm a digital artist, and today I'm going to be working on a commission. Now this commission is a little special. It's kind of similar to another one that I've done in the past, in that this is a piece of art on commission that I've done for one of my partners. He came to me with the idea for this Knight Exemplar character, had tons of references because my partners are the best. If there's anything that you take from any of my videos about commissioning artists, it's that people who bring reference photos and poses and stuff are the absolute best. And I wanted to do really well by him as I made my way through this commission. You'll see that I have a little heart sensor on the screen. I thought that would be cute, but obviously my beloved decided that he would like to kind of like show the pose that he wanted for the picture, which is fantastic. When you pose yourself, you know exactly kind of how you want the hands to look, just how the face should be tilted, and he did a really wonderful job of taking that photo for me. I also have a picture of his lovely face, so I'm adjusting sort of the look of the Knight Exemplar's face at the moment based on that. So please, please forgive the little heart sensors. I know that they're not the most sightly, but I think that they are very important. No matter if I'm doing commissions for a friend or a beloved or just a client, their privacy and anonymity is important to me, and I wouldn't want to plaster their face all over the internet. So the idea of this character is that he's on a journey. He's been, kind of wandering and doing different tasks in this Feywood. We kind of decided on this sort of like pink and peach palette, partially because then he looks like he doesn't quite fit. He's not quite from here. And as you look at the piece, you can really see that. I had a lot of fun laying in on these little trees. I'm going to do all these little leaves. I tried to do something a little bit more impressionistic in the background. I wasn't as committed to, okay, I'm going to draw every single little leaf, but I'll put in these little dots, and it had a really nice look to me. I think that it also being a sort of take on a Feywild or a Feywood, it also fit, being able to have these sort of impressionistic, pink and yellow sort of trees in the background doing their thing, while this lovely guy kind of rests in the foreground. Now, unlike my art of KT, which is one I did for my other partner, this kind of art is definitely more in my wheelhouse. But I completed this over the course of, I'm going to say maybe 8 hours, which sounds like a lot when I say it out loud. But my partner was super wonderful. He was like in full correspondence with me the whole time. Just like when I did that KT art, I always feel so supported and so loved when I do art for my partners. Some of the important little details in this piece are the sword, which is a reference photo that he sent me directly, and he was like, I really want this to be accurate to the sword, and I was like, I can absolutely do that. And doing a really fun little piecemeal job of all these different pieces of armor that he sent me references for. There's a lot of really warm sort of like pink and gold and yellow tones in the background, and as I start to kind of lay in the shadows and the highlights on the armor, I didn't want to shy away from that, just because I think this character gives the impression that he doesn't exactly belong in this world, right? His palette is very different. I don't want him to not look grounded in the world. So when I go to do the highlights and the shadows, I want to keep them in that warm palette so that everything that I'm doing is still merging and meshing together. What I don't want it to look like is that I drew a background, drew a guy, and then kind of slapped them together and said, okay, well, I hope that you can rationalize in your mind how this guy fits into this image. I find that to be really difficult. I think that doing backgrounds are definitely my weakest point as an artist. So having something with a more natural, a little bit more of a challenging background is always a really good step for me personally. Everything in this piece I really tried to render out really delicately. Right now I'm working on his face, so like the way that the eyes are shaped, the way that the jaw is, the sort of the attentiveness to detail. It feels a little different, of course, when you're doing something for someone you love. But I was sitting with this piece and I'm like, it's no pressure. It's no pressure. It's just another piece of art. You can do it. It's going to be fine. And my partner was very happy with, what I was doing, all the different points of the process. We definitely talked, especially during the sketch stage. I find that to be the best sort of like point for adjustment. And so, especially as I was working on the armor, as I was figuring out, just exactly how the face was going to be shaped with the proportion of the features, I was talking to my partner and he was like giving me feedback on like, how he sees different parts of this and how I see different parts of this, and working together to make a really lovely convalescent whole that fit both of the internal pictures. And I'm really happy with the way that his face turned out. I think he looks very dreamy. And the atmosphere of the piece as a whole does feel very dreamy to me. This lovely fey wood, the way that the light catches and bounces off of this armor in places where I think that the tones that I use communicate that it is this sort of iron, like silver color, but in certain places, especially like on the breastplate, it almost looks like gold because of the way that it reflects. And I think that that's just really gorgeous and really pretty. It's something that, no matter how long you do art for, I hope that I never lose that sort of wonder for the way that light plays tricks and falls and makes everything look so beautiful and wonderful. I think that it would be a shame to lose that. And I feel the same way about people. When I see people out in the world, or when I get to interact with those that I love, or I get to hang out with a friend or spend time with them, I think about, how wonderful it is to be surrounded by people who I love, people who I cherish, people who support me, people who laugh with me and make jokes with me. I think that all of us can relate to points in our life where we didn't have that kind of support, where we felt more alone than not. And I feel extremely lucky as I look at this piece and I think about my wonderful partners and the support that I get from my friends and my loved ones. I wish I could go back in time and tell my younger self that it really is gonna be okay, which is part of the reason that I like to say that at the end of my videos. There's a lot of time and effort that goes into making a piece of art, and when you're doing it for someone that you care about, I think that care is intensified. Every detail means just a little bit more. I love doing art for all of my clients. I love, getting to know somebody new and learning what they want out of a piece and how they feel about their character that they're commissioning, or everything. And it gives me the chance to kind of fall in love with people again. It's a beautiful thing to be around so many wonderful people on the planet, even though times are really hard in different ways. It's good to know that you can still make a community that is compassionate and gentle and caring. And even though sometimes it feels impossible, you can go out on the street and look at people and fall in love just a little bit. I think that, not to say the reason that I ended up with my partners is because they are beautiful, but because there was such a beautiful warmth within them that you just kind of can't help falling in love a little bit. I met both of my partners online, and they both made their impressions in their own ways. But I liked them before I even knew what they looked like. It was about their personalities. It was about the way that they spoke. When I met my partner, who I'm making this art for now, he learned that I was an English major and immediately wanted to talk about all the things that I had done in college and all the texts that I had read, and wanted to compare how his college's English major had differed from mine because he was also an English major. It actually took me a little bit of time to realize that he wasn't trying to, do a weird English major vet on me. He just wanted to talk and enjoy company. And looking back on that, I guess I do feel a little embarrassed. But I think it's all worth it. Every little bit of embarrassment is worth it in the end, because of where I got to get to. The sword is a really pretty one. He actually ended up, and you'll see this right at the end of the speed paint, he liked the sort of bronze tone that I took with the guard and the pommel, so I will end up kind of using an overlay layer to get that back. I think that's funny because in the reference photo that he sent me of, holding it, the original one, it had this sort of bronze look to it, and I was like, I think I need to get another reference of this thing. And he sent it, and I was like, oh, that's like silver. Let me adjust this really quick. I'm so grateful that I get to be with the partners that I have, and the one that commissioned this is just absolutely wonderful. He's so supportive and kind and sweet, and I couldn't ask for anything better. And I hope if you're out there and you're like, oh, well, I wish I had someone like that, I hope that you find them. People like that are out there. I think it can be a little bit hard to find. I think that right now, especially, the idea of looking for a partner, especially a guy, can be really, really daunting. And I want you to do what you have to do to keep yourself safe. But I don't want you to give up on people. I don't want you to give up on the beauty of love or romance. I don't want you to give up on the feeling of being lost in the woods of love. Life is a little bit of a dream. It can feel like a dream. And when we're at our best, we make it a dream that we get to share with other people. So I hope as I finish up this piece and struggle through the absolute worst part of it, which was this other hand, you think about the kind of dream that you would like to make in your life, whether that's with someone or without someone, whether that's in the community of friends, family, whether you're coalition building or just trying to take care of yourself from day to day. I hope that you still have that dream in your heart. And I hope that that dream is full of love, no matter what form that love takes. In this case, this making of an art piece is a kind of love. All the attention and care to detail, all the little brushstrokes that come together to make something wonderful. It makes me happy. Thank you for sharing this little piece of a dream with me. As always, I'll say thank you to my patrons who help me make art, especially Banjo, Confocal Clips, and Diator. And to you. Thank you for watching. You can hit that like and subscribe button if you enjoyed watching me paint and listening to me speak. There's another little video on screen if you'd like to click it. You can support me on Patreon if you like, but of course, just remember, it's all going to be okay. See you next time.